Welcome back, everybody. We're going to do two more math problems on friction. If you remember that friction is an opponent force of motion, so it is always going to oppose motion, and friction is based upon what two surfaces are grinding together. The slicker the surfaces, the lower the coefficient of friction is. Coefficient of friction, remember, is mu. Coefficient of friction is mu, and if you want to find out friction, the force of friction, so that's F sub F, it's equal to the coefficient of friction, which is some kind of a fraction, some kind of a decimal number that is multiplied by the normal force to find out how slick or sticky a surface is. So it's going to be mu, which is the coefficient of friction, times the normal force. And the normal force is the force exerted by, say, the table or the floor on an object that is pushing weight back down. So it's going to be equal to its weight and opposite to its direction. So normal force is going to be equal to weight if you have a horizontal force. I think both of these questions have a horizontal surface. So the first one says, as Alan is taking a shower, the soap falls out of the soap dish and Alan steps on it with a force of 500 newtons. Okay, now it didn't tell us how much he weighed. It went ahead and said that the force was 500 newtons. So this is the normal force. This is the force down, which is going to be equal to the normal force up. And so we don't even have to multiply it by 10. It's already in force. So this is going to be the force of friction equals whatever the coefficient of friction is times, in this case, 500 newtons. Okay. If Alan slides forward and the frictional force between the soap and the tub is 50, also they go ahead and tell us the friction. So this is 50 equals mu times 500. So we're going to get mu by itself. We're going to find out what the coefficient of friction is. So you're going to divide 500 into 50. So mu equals 50 divided by 500, and that is 0.1, I think. 0.1. So 0.1. Okay. And there are no units for this. This is just a number. Okay. So it's just a part of one. So the lower this part is, the slicker it is. The higher this number is, the stickier it is. Okay. And the last question is, Howard, the soda jerk at B's Diner, slides a 0.60 kilogram root beer from the end of the counter to a thirsty customer. The force of 1.2 newtons brings the drink to a stop right in front of the customer. What's the coefficient of sliding friction between the glass and the counter? Well, we already know that friction is going to be equal to the coefficient of friction, which is Greek letter mu, times the normal force. And the normal force on a horizontal surface is equal to the weight that object puts on the surface. It's going to come back up from the table to support it. It's a supporting force. So what do we want? We know that this is 60 kilograms, so we're going to have to put that into force. So how much force down is that? We're going to have to multiply mass times gravity. So this is mass, and gravity is 10. So we have 0.6 kilograms. So that's going to give us 6 newtons, right? 6 newtons. We'll see where that goes. And then we've given you the force of friction. So they give you the force of friction and they ask for the coefficient. So we're solving for mu again. Right? So if I put mu back on the other side, I get friction, the force of friction, over the normal force. Well, the force of friction they give us as, 12 or 1.2? 1.2 newtons. And the normal force, we're going to have to find its weight. So that's 0.6 times 10. Okay, 0.6 is the kilograms and 10 is the meters per second squared. And so that's going to give us, 0.02. So 0.02 is mu. And then B says if the glass encounters a sticky patch on the counter, will the spot have a higher or lower coefficient of friction? Well, the stickier it is, the more friction you have, the higher the coefficient, because when you multiply, say, 80% by a number, you're going to get a big number. When you multiply 2% by a number, you're going to get a small number. So if it encounters a sticky patch on the counter, it's going to encounter a higher coefficient at that place. But as of this it's 0.02. So this would be 0.02, and then I guess this one would be higher. All right, how about that for a 5-minute video? See you in class.